Showmax.
Baby, hello, nakupenda sana. Hello, mama, hello, wapi baby, mapenzi tangu. Hello, nakutaka sana. Oh, mama, oh, mama.
Asante sana for joining us for another classic episode of the Weekend Edition. I'm your host, Dr. Kingori. Maze, I hope you have your subscription at Showmax. Showmax ready, because there's so, if not, Maze, there's so much you're missing out on. I know you loved season 1 of Kyalo Culture, Maze. Season 2 is here, and I'll be sharing more about that in a bit. Leo kwanza hata tusianze na jokes kwa show. Leo tusianze na jokes. Kuna story hapa ya dharura. Dharura umaanisha nini kwanza? Anyway, story ni toilets at City Hall have been demolished for renovations, and this development comes with very interesting unintended consequences. For those who don't know, City Hall ni headquarters za Kanjo wa Nairobi. Sasa choo zao mazee zimebomolewa, so they are forced to turn into athletes every now and then because they have to round themselves off to the nearest buildings. That is to answer to calls of nature, either waingie KICC Supreme Court ama Parliament. Now, one of the officers is quoted complaining that they have to run to GPO, which is like 100 meters away. Sijui alipimaje hiyo, but 100 meters, that's Omanyala stuff. So, basically, inamaanisha we have champions at City Hall. Now, when you read that story, what comes to mind first ni how nature is dealing na wase wa Kanjo. Like moving around kwa ofisi, choosing victims randomly. Unataka ukimbizo sahi? And but then we've used that bite ya hiyo video ya Simbarati mara mingi sana, but this has to be the most interesting context, especially think about it. Kwa ofisi ya Kanjo, vile sasa choo zimebomolewa, msi wa Kanjo amechill tu vizuri, anachagua avocado yenye wamenyang'anya huka sakule nayo mkate kabla haijaharibika, alafu anasikia large intestines.
I can decide ukimbizwa sasa. Unataka?
Utakimbizwa. Now the fun part for me is, if that's the situation at City Hall, think about maze, a random hooker minding his or her own business, alafu anaona msi wa Kanjo anakuja mbio, alafu yeye pia anatoka mbio. Alafu unapata msi wa Kanjo hata anaja na wewe, haja yake ni yake. Maze. That's awkward. Si ungesema ni kukazwa umekazwa. Sasa nimeenda na chejia wenyewe. But anyway, ni sawa tuache ajue life has no balance. Now false alarm inafanya utoke mbio maze, unaenda kusimamia huko Cabanas. Alafu huko GPO mahali wanaenda mbio, kuna huduma center. Unaweza kosa kuchukua NHIF, unafikiria line ni mrefu, kumbe ni watu wa City Hall wamekuja kudrop matunda. Wamenyang'anya mahawkers. Now not to encourage tabia mbaya, but I feel like this incident itafanya Kanjo wakuwe more understanding to ile warning ya usikojoe hapa. Now it's interesting, I don't know whether this is a coincidence, that it comes right like barely a week after Governor Sakaja aliwabaia magari mpya. Hata hawezi endeshea kwao. Now anyway, in other news, Bunny's Karaoke, the lady we recently celebrated for representing Kenya on the world map, because alikuwa chef wa Arsenal. Maze, she has quit. Amesare hiyo job maze. And without even going into the details, I understand where she's coming from. Any woman who cooks for you will leave when you bring nothing to the table. Maze. It's even worse as a chef. Kila time unataka kuserve maze, unapata watu wana vikombe. Na then Bunny's quitting is also a very strong statement that no woman wants to be the second. Elsewhere, our Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, aka Rigi G, this week said that quitting alcohol is why he is where he is. Ati angekuwa mlevi, he would not even have made it to the position of Deputy President.
Personally, I must admit, I used to drink a lot before I got saved. But since I stopped drinking, my things have been very good. That's how I'm Deputy President. So I invite those who drink to consider to stop, to drop it. Maybe your things will get better.
Now this, to be honest, this is the first lie I've heard the DP saying. Like honestly, Bwana DP, hata kama tunaoneanga watu wanakunywa pombe, are you sure that hapa Kenya, mlevi hawezi rise past the position of a deputy president? Really. Anyway, moving on. Kenyans have also been on the case of leaders celebrating their wins. People have been on the case of Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti for launching this road. Na shida ya Wakenya manze sijui na kuanga nini. This is a work of art and craft. Na mimi sijui watu wanateta nini na governor anaonesha watu wake njia rahisi. In fact, this is not like a main road. This is how you build a shortcut. Now, Alafu Madioya MP was also on the receiving end for donating matchboxes with his image, like picha yake ikiwa kwa kiberiti to elderly residents. Hapo kuna hypocrisy ya kimataifa. Kenyans have gotten to a place ama to a point of hating people because their profile pictures is lit. Now, alafu kwa the 3% housing fund, it continues to draw controversy because many Kenyans are still wondering how the government will build houses for all Kenyans, yet walishindwa kuimplement nyumba 10. And people have also been really on a case, on the housing PS Charles Singer's case over this press conference on the same.
And now I'm introducing the housing fund because that's the elephant in the room. So, now, let me just make a guess.
Hapa pia naona tumekuwa peti kidogo ati why was the PS sweating so much in that press conference. Mtu yote understand kwa nini PS alikuwa na sweat, hajui kazi ya mjengo. Yes. Alafu kuna watu wanasema ati looking at how the PS was sweating, he should have been the PS in the Ministry of Water. Anyway, we have a great show lined up for you. This is another conversation I trust you are going to enjoy. The Kyalo sisters are in the house. Hey. Thank you. Yes, Maze. Mercy and Betty Kyalo are our guests on this one. And away from the good vibes of what they have planned for you on season 2, ya Kyalo Culture, Showmax, where that show is airing, has a very affordable package here. Just 300 bob a month, Maze. You have access to high quality shows, na movie, alafu na vipindi kama Kyalo Culture, na vipindi mob sana. Also, mnajua assignment yetu moja kwa hii show ni kulearn as much as possible about money. The Kyalo sisters will be sharing with us their first-hand experience in the business world, ama business circles. Alafu, you will be the judge. We have so much of that and more on the other end of this short commercial break. See you in a bit. Manze, welcome back to the weekend edition. I'm your host, Dr. Kingori. Leo tuko na Betty Kyalo na Mercy Kyalo in the house. Asante sana. Niko sure tapiga nao story mob sana, but najua interest yetu sisi wote pia iko pale kwa business. But before tuingie kwa business, karibuni sana kwa show.
Thank you so much. So nice to meet you finally.
Yes. Thank you.
Atujai meet, by the way.
Manzi atujai meet.
I know.
Na tumepanga for long.
I know. By the way, tumetafutana for long.
Tumepanga for long. Finally tuko hapa.
I know.
Ona vile Mercy anakaa mpole mazeti. Aliniambia story flani ya ati you guys hated to share a room growing up because tulipigana story tulienda huko nyuma kidogo. Akasema one day ulirarua sport shoes zake cause you didn't like that ako na hizo sport shoes. So I was like, oh, so before Betty
yani hata ni traumatized. Even though mnaanza show. No,
I was curious. It was interesting kujua before Betty you were Petty Kyalo.
I swear.
Is it an isolated incident?
Roasted.
No.
Because nilikuja late than Mercy no kujua secrets zangu mingi. Hiyo si fair.
No. Unajua, I was very very curious about relationship yenu. Mkigrow juu tunajua si wanafuatana, hawapendanangi.
Mlianza kupendana nangi Mercy. Yani ni ile unajua tulikuwa yani
Betty hanipendi.
Mercy, stop it. No, ile kitu tu ilifanyika ni alinunua sport shoes, mimi sikununuliwa na our dad. So yani our dad's favorite. So tukanunua sport.
I was our dad's favorite.
She was.
Yeah. Now I was a sickly kid, so nilipewa a bit of attention kuliko Betty. Maybe hapo ndo alini,
sasa amenunuliwa kiatu, mimi sijanunuliwa. Mimi niliona nikazirarua.
No, seriously.
I swear, because niliona white and purple, two sneakers too nzuri. Nile nikachukua tu wembe.
Wembe, can you imagine mtu anafanya such an action na wembe?
How old were you guys?
So me, I was a kid. I was like, I think maybe like around 10. You know, 10. Mtoto ujijui.
You were that jealous at 10, like. Betty aliingia TV akiwa 22, which is also a very interesting story in itself. Wewe ulikuwa unajua unaenda kuingia kwa entertainment hata wewe?
No, hata mimi nilipewa kazi hata sikuwa najua ni yangu.
Serious?
For real, like I didn't know I was going to even enter into the media or even be in the scene. As in, fine, maybe when I was younger I wanted to be an actor, but never an actress, but never to the like media kama venye aliingia. Yali ni post to Twitter. And then they know Dennis, her ex-husband at the time, akasema akaandika, they look so alike, I can't tell them apart. So me, naangalia tu phone niko job, naona tu 300 notifications. I'm like, what is happening?
In your experience, how expensive is it to be famous?
Quite expensive.
How expensive is being famous?
It is. Unajua life yangu ili change. So kwanza time nimeanza kusoma TV news like as an intern hata main reporter unaambiwa uwezi enda huku uwezi dress hivi uwezi unaenda kwa clubs unakunywa sijui bia lazima ukwe una set standards uwezi kwa tume amkatoa asubuhi umemsemache kanunue mkate sijui nifanye nini yani vitu zina change so you have to live another life get alafu sasa pia pressure ya mafans ili unasichiki tulikuwa na Betty Kyalo kwa stage unajua awaelewi yani iwezekani so like you gonna pressure because it's like you have to live up to the standards but then take time
really
wewe kukufanyikia hivyo
no mimi sijalingi
sasa najali lakini na come to sell you know
mimi si celeb unaona mtu kama wewe in this case and you can bear me witness kuna time ulikuwa ukitaka kutrend utatrend hiyo siku
of course
like umejibu mtu aje hiyo ni meme hiyo siku sijui umesema nini hiyo watu watakutana nayo right that's a whole new level of pressure right
it's pressure
uli have kudeal na hizo pia in itself like kuna vitu you could not from how long at what point could you not be yourself anymore like hawezi enda shop hawezi fanya hizo vitu zenye unafaa kudu
like unajua like by the kwanza unajua ukianza kusoma news your time and your time watu yani kwa news yake ilikuwa okay I'm not saying it's not a big deal now but kuna hiyo time ambayo yani it was like a really big deal I don't know kama unaelewa so like at that time nile umeingizwa kwa hiyo place you're young hauna kitu I think even that's why mom used to give me her car ile tu nionekane tu neza yani una drive nini utakutana na say it's so serious so for me like for me I have had different phases like right now I don't care like whatever I do yani vile tu umesema ujali but kuna time too when you're growing in the career una feel your pressure like it's like society are expecting you to act differently or to live a different life so even if they are not bado wewe ni kama pressure unajipatia una get so it was there when I was starting out but after some time like unaanza ku get your nini kama mimi salary yangu nikianza kitini kwa 5k una get as an intern and so such could this lakini kama like an intern so it was 5k utafanya nini nayo unaona so you still have to go back to your parents nisaidie mama hapa sina hivi sina fare sina nguo so all those things but after some time too I think una live up to that standard
kwa TV you started out when you were too young that they had to make you look old
you say started out like 22 years honestly 22 years nani atakuamini you're dealing with unasomea news watu professors kwani uko 22
ndio nasema it's interesting ukisema ukiwa 22 hakuna mtu anakuamini like unaenda was it like ulienda ukasoma news alafu watu uongo like unajua Kenya like that was it
like for me psychologically and even you know even in the newsroom like yani I was too young to start reading the news at that age you get like first of all experience you know like right now talk about your news and you know and everything that's happening in the country in the world but that time you're just learning pole to what it is about you know politics how to ask politicians questions so you're not there yet but kuna tu vile tu you're still unaweza trainiwa so that's how I started so 22 so I used to wear zile mashati kubwa but they were also to funika my scar because I have a big scar over here so you know so it was for two things una get kufunika scar na pia kukwa ile unakatua a bit older than your age
what have you learned about money
first thing is that you need it you can't do without it that's lesson number one because I've seen what money has done to me Someone invested in my business. I had just an idea, and that changed the course of my life and the people who work for me. So first things first, I've learned that you need money.
Somebody invested in your business?
Yes, someone
in this country?
In this country.
What does it take to convince someone to invest in your business?
You know, that actually I feel like that was divinely brought to me, because I had tried previously before. You meet these people called quote-unquote investors. You go easy meetings, youth, yakupata do, grants and stuff like that. Even you chase the government, mpatiwe grant as a group. Those processes are so hard, especially for young people. So I had been through all those processes. I had my idea pretty early. Well, I think I was 19 when I wanted to start my business. So I had tried so many ways. But this was a family friend, and it was a simple car ride. We were just going, it was a car ride in Kilimani, and we were talking, and I just had I needed to say it. Like, by the minute idea, I've been having this idea, and I know inaweza work. And they asked me, okay, show me anything you've done. I had, at that point, I had done one bag, and that it was done so beautifully by one of the people who works for me right now. Nikamwonyesha, alikuwa so impressed. Akaniambia, hii imefanywa Kenya. And in, I think 1 month, I had my capital.
So it is this moment that you decided to share with this person after trying to get funding from different sources that was a turning point for you.
Yeah, unajua venye unamita ma rich uncles.
Yes.
Unajua rich uncle tu, maybe mnajuanga kona do nini. Then uko like, wacha tu niji, let me try my luck. So I just tried my luck, and luckily he understood what I was saying. Nah, you know.
Not in a bad way. So moral of the story: keep begging. no,
I think
that's a bad way to put it. Like sema, keep knocking on doors.
Lazima, kama ni entrepreneur koko nje, you know your one key thing is to sell yourself. Either you're selling your products or you're selling yourself. You have to keep knocking doors. Every other door, it could be the door that opens everything. Nakumbuka by then nilikuwa na stress, nilikuwa nataka kuanza biz, nilikuwa nishaanza na salo yangu, lakini haikuwa inaweza kusustainika. So I really needed the money injection. That day nilikuwa nimeona TED Talk, ilikuwa imeongea juu ya fear. And this lady was just asking, like, what do you really fear? Sometimes fears are bigger in our heads and in our minds than the actual thing that could happen. So I just got rid of my fear, na nikauliza, na sikuwa nataka kuchoma. Unajua vitu zingine unaweza uliza uchome familia yote ijue unaichanga do. But as an entrepreneur haufai kuwa naibu.
Ni do ngapi ulikuwa unaogopa kuomba yenye inaweza kuwa bridge between huyu anaombanga pesa?
At the time, by then nilikuwa naomba 10 million.
Mi singempatia, sikuwa nimefikia hiyo level.
Betu ulikuwa umesema kitu about a scar that had to be hidden.
Yeah.
Right? That's not the only scar you carry kwa life yako hata wewe.
No.
Hata wewe umeifanywa character development na mtu mwenye hautawahi sahau.
Watu wako wengi, lazima ikuwe mtu mmoja.
Kuna the champion. Of course, by the one thing I respect about you is how open you are about your life. And that approach is very interesting. Aufichangi watu like sawa mnataka hiyo basi ndio hiyo. Unaget, and that's a very beautiful way of dealing with this. Kuna mtu specific kwa mzee yote umei meet wenye si tunajua mwenye unasemanga yes unasemanga huyu ndiye alikuwa my teacher. Adi teacher.
Married for 6 months. Hiyo ilikuwa kosa ama ilikuwa nini?
No, sikuwa nataka ku bring up his story.
No. But imagine, I think all of us tumepitia to the same things. So, wezi semati ni mtu mmoja amekuteach something one thing. Because I feel like everybody who we date, at a way I'm sure you date people. Ama you married? Umewezana?
Good question, but
you see, the thing is, si lazima ikuwa timu mmoja amekufundisha kitu. Hata mimi nimefundishana by the way in Nairobi, nimefundishana by the watu huko na safari. Lakini so I think it's different people wanakufundisha different things. So hizi kwa tu mtu mmoja. Mwingine anakuja nafanya angle nyingine hujaiona, ingine next week. hivyo tu.
Sawa.
Una heal.
Wazi. Before you tell us about hata wewe chenye umelana about do.
Yeah.
Nitakurudisha nyuma and I think I didn't want to bring this up but please enlighten us. Ulikuwa kwa a very long relationship. I think 6 years if I'm not wrong. But on marriage ikaenda 6 months. How do you explain that? Like why kwa hii setting ya official haikuenda sana but hii pande ingine all was well.
Mimi bedana ni kitu bado mushanga. Na ni 4 years, 6 mwenyeongeza mingi but ni 4 years.
Oh.
But you know, hapo yenye sijui iliendaje. Me I think kuna two problem na hiyo white dress.
Oh, you think inaweza kuwa problem na hiyo?
No, like I just feel like maybe it's that pomp and color. Kuna ile kitu kama Africans usemanga like uki-expose kitu sana, upige kelele about something, machomba. You know, it could be anything. Lakini mimi I believe kama hii kuanga iwezekana, huwezi force kitu. And right now, like, you know, we're in different parts and we are all happy, we are friends. Yeah. So si ati ni lazima ati because meko na mtu hivi, ati sasa marriage ndo sasa mtakuwa hapo 100 years.
Na Wakenya wajai toka hapo. Saa ingine unapostingi kitu Twitter wanakuvurutia.
Kuna wengine
picha za harusi hapo.
Ati picha harusi ati mtu akona simu 2015. Ati kusema congratulations. Ati congratulations size. After tumeheal, tumemove on. Ndio amepata smartphone.
But mi hata sijui kwani mi siwezi kuhurumia cause you are equally savage. Unaona wa Kenya like hizo mavitu mzee anaweza kuwa mpeti hivyo anakuja kukuletea kitu kayo. Wewe pia una dealing tu na wao hivyo.
Hapo kwanza Twitter ilibidi sasa tupelekane tu head to head. Unaandika hivi unaambia mtu hivi.
So pigana uko sawa, niko sawa.
Watu wanafikiria ngati kama una trend uko mahali unalia sijui uko wapi sijui uko mimi
naweza kuwa Zanzibar colleague na trend Kenya. I love that about her.
Brand ambassador wakaende sana.
I know. Like you know, I think after some time unaona tu kila mtu ana opinion yake. Hata Yesu akupendwa na kila mtu. Sali sulubiwa.
Busy yako kwanza inakuanga inapigiwa kelele sana.
I know.
Transformation na updating tumetoka hapa
I know.
What have you learned about money?
What I've learned about money? Wow. Okay, of course you need it. You need it. But what I've learned about money is lazima utumie pesa.
Do you remember? That's a good point.
Yeah.
Pesa ilikuzoea at some point.
Ilinizoea because I'm not mimi by then nikipata do size by the stack what like sasa niende bank niweke nini mimi I actually just if there's a need, if there's something I've always wanted to buy for myself, me I buy. Now the more inatoka, the more inarudi. Like me I believe
chop
that money, you know, because ukieka it's like yani ni kama unafunga blessing, but ukitumia inakuzoea. Na inakuzoeanga by the way.
Umetuanzia story na at some point you didn't even have transport ya kwenda job.
Yeah.
Your mom had to come through.
Of course.
Ya kukusort gari yake. Do you remember your transition? Yeah. Hey, by the way niko na pesa sasa, by the way money is here.
Yeah.
Did you feel money coming?
So you feel it coming, alafu una make another decision. So now when I was at home, you know me, I was doing even when I was at KTN. Sikutoka ati nyumbani haraka, nilikaka home. So you see that period after you've transitioned from an intern, unaanza kupatiwa some money, I think 50. Unaona like una leave home, bado unaambia mom nini salary ni ile 25k, anaendelea kukusaidia. Anaendelea kukusaidia, alafu unaendelea huko mbele sasa kama una saves, then uko na do unaweza nunua manguo, you know vitu kidogo.
Yes.
Nikahama. So like it's a transition. Alafu also as I progress in KTN, like my career and everything, of course paycheck inainuka kidogo hivyo. So you can tukaanza kusalimiana sana.
Na msalimia Gen Z.
Gloria. But then angekuwa hapa ni Blacko shule. And mom takes school very serious.
Tuliambiwa. Maze, it's sad that we have to end this. I hope we've asked all the questions that ziko kwa mind yenu. Nimeuliza swali zenu zote, si ndio? Wapi makofi yao? Maze, asanteni sana for making time for us. All the best on Kyalo culture. Ni Kyalo culture wadau. So naanza kusema culture. Ni Kyalo culture.
Before I go, I have to say that you're one of the most intelligent interviewers we have in Kenya.
Yeah, that's so
we were so glad.
For sure. Sijui interview hivi by the way.
Kabisa.
Sijui
No,
interview
serious?
hivi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's good.
Yeah.
Tukuja tena now
That's
next week.
high
Same time, same place.
Manze, mkuje tena next week same time same place 7:30
Okay.
NTV
Yeah.
on Friday. Manze, checking out Chalo Culture, Kyalo Culture. Nitashika. Unajua nimesema wewe ni brand ya for long. Ulikuwa kwa TV 13 years. Unajua that's not a short time.
I know. Na bado hujaweza sema jina langu vizuri even after the 13 years.
No. Imagine kila mtu anasemanga hivyo. I kid you
Wacha
not.
tumwite
Sisi ndio
Dr.
tutacorrect.
King'oli.
No. Sawa. So unajua tumeisema for long sana na this is the first time I have been corrected on how it's supposed to be pronounced. I watched your video ukisema Kyalo nikafikiria hata umekosea.
Why aren't you volunteering to pay?
I feel like it's the age difference.
She treats me like somebody who's actually older than her.
Congrats! I love it. It's vibrant. It's the kind of launch that Betty does, but it looks like a mini wedding, to be honest.
Oh my gosh, the game night. Was it nice? It was really nice.
Gloria and I thought about the same thing. Like we were both like, this guy actually looks like my ex.
Johnny, thank you for being patient with us. Johnny ni director wetu. Otherwise, that's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. King'ori.
Wicked Edition in association with Showmax.
I invited Robert today for my sisters to meet him.
Wait a minute. I know that beard.